The Software Process and Measurement Cast 812 features our essay that introduces a business novella that Dave Herron and I are working on. And we also have a visit from the Evolutionary Agilist, Jeremy Berriault. Jeremy and I wrestle with the question, why do we still have testers in an age of automated testing and AI? Hey, learn to tame your work intake beast. Jeremy Willits and I are celebrating summer in the Northern Hemisphere with a summer camp. We'll be looking at the 8 primary causes of work intake problems and how to solve them in 8 short summer camp sessions. We'll go through each individually with some time for interaction and stories around the campfire. Join us for our first LinkedIn Live event on the topic, June 12th at 11:30. Link in the show notes to register. Registration is not explicitly required, but it'll help us to get a count for virtual juice boxes. Introducing Innovatech by Thomas M. Cagley Jr., Megan E. Cagley. Accountability and responsibility are intertwined. In most businesses, the concepts are intertwined and when hierarchies are present, layered. In other words, determining who is responsible and accountable is harder than deciding how many layers were in a 7-layer dip several hours after it's been served to a hungry softball team. Let's use the example of developing a feature for a product for Innovatech, an imaginary firm. This case study synthesizes several real-life stories. The story format protects the innocent and pokes fun at those acting like a box of rocks. Note, parts of this case study will be incorporated in a business novella David Herron and I are developing. Today, we begin with a bit of background, and we're going to continue this as we explore accountability and responsibility over the summer. Innovatech, once the tech world's darling, is underperforming in the marketplace. Their building software product line has become stodgy. Several unicorns are snapping at their heels, delivering new features in an almost continual stream. To recapture the era of market-leading technology, the CEO has a vision of AI being incorporated into the entire suite of products. At the company annual meeting, the CEO holds up a picture of the headquarters of a local B2B plumbing firm and states, "Just imagine how profitable and efficient big box plumbing would be if they could leverage AI in scheduling, marketing, and logistics." They, the CEO, commit the firm to the key initiative, embracing AI. The CEO is not very imaginative when it comes to naming. Once the hoopla dies down, the Chief Product Officer, CPO, Chief Information Officer, CIO, Chief Technology Officer, CTO, work with the Enterprise Program Management Office, EPMO, I hope you're getting the picture here, to break the vision into a set of key initiatives. Each functional silo is assigned a piece of the key initiative. The EPMO will oversee the overall vision and each piece of the key initiative. As time goes by, each silo breaks its initiative into features, user stories, and architectural and technical enablers. These are then passed to departments for individual teams or teams of teams to work on. The definition of functional work cascades down from the product hierarchy. The decision of which department and team does what occurs as the work is taken into departments by each area's manager. These managers and leaders belong to the personnel management hierarchy. At the team level, between team planning and team lead pressure, individuals make things happen. Technical, architectural, and non-functional requirements appear, as if by magic, in the product backlog during the cascade to the team. Innovatech is not atypical in having both a product management hierarchy and a personnel management hierarchy that exists side by side and must interact and sometimes compete. This gives you a brief introduction into Innovatech. We'll explore some of the players, people like Emma, who is the senior IT manager, relatively new to the company, Ali, the CTO, who is a driver within the organization, Larry, the product owner, Sandeep, the team lead, as they explore and look into why they're having trouble delivering software across the entirety of their value chain. Jeremy Berriault, welcome to the Software Process and Measurement Cast, dude. Jeremy, this month, the balance between automated and manual testing. Let's start there. Automated testing, it's been around forever, at least for a long time, right? Why haven't we gotten rid of all of those darn manual testers by now?
Automated testing has been around for, like decades. And I think where a lot of organizations kind of look at it the wrong way is that it's to replace other testers, kind of do their work and kind of make things automated so you run test overnight, which is true. That's what good automation suite should be doing, run it when everyone else is gone. But I think where the failure in that is that they see it as something to replace individuals that do the manual testing. And like, if you look at automation as a whole, if you look at it from a superhero perspective, let's look at it from a superhero perspective. Automation, their superpower is that it can free up time for everyone else to focus on the actual nitty gritty and more thought provoking test cases and testing that they need to do on whatever software. It allows that the mundane, the repeatable test over and over again that does take up time, gets those out of the way and allows those individuals, those testers, those QA analysts and system engineers to focus on the real issue and get the real kind of value out of getting that test through. And the beauty part is once they get those tests through and everything works, and if everything's done in the right fashion, those tests can then be automated and everyone else can move on to the next issue and move on and move on and move on. And then you're building out your automation suite while you're focusing on more complex issues to help provide software for your clients or customers of high quality.
Well, I'm glad you recognized my tone as a bit of facetiousness. But what do you mean by balance?
So the balance is more getting the understanding what automation is and what automation isn't. And I think a lot of organizations feel that automations is kind of the silver bullet that's going to help solve everything. And it's not. We all know that in a testing environment, that it's similar to, I read this in a book, it's similar to a net that you use to go fishing. If the tighter the net, yes, the more fish you can catch, but you can't make it in any tighter than so the water doesn't pass through. So there's still opportunities for stuff to pass through. Automation is kind of tightening that net, but the manual testing, the balance there is what helps trying to cover those additional holes to avoid anything sneaking out so that they can now focus their energy on those tough issues and not the basic issues that can happen that they can easily find in automation.
Have you ever seen this balance And have you seen a scenario where testing stops the release? I'd suggest that having been a QA manager and having put my career on the line more than a couple of times to stop a release.
Well, I've seen it where it got stopped. I have done it, and I know some other individuals that have done it. Now, if you generalize it overall,
most people just cave in or get run over.
Well, I have a few scars because of it, yes, but it happened. That I know, and that's not the norm. Like you said, the norm is okay. We're going to push this through, and we found that there's some defects. Okay, that's right. We'll kind of deal with those as we go along, depending on the severity. And I think we need to kind of speak up more. Now, in our past two conversations, we talked about QA leadership kind of involving with the software development kind of environment now compared to where it was 30 years ago, and the seamless communication. You kind of have to tie those in together so you can help get that balance between automation and manual testing. If you don't have, and I know some groups that don't have automation, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully they work through it and get it. But once you have automation and manual kind of automation testing suite, that's kind of getting that job done, and you get the manual testing working together on top of the seamless communication where you have no issues bringing up, hey, I found this issue, I got this problem, or can you help me with this? And where you have the QA kind of being true quality assurance individuals, and that helping everyone get better at what they do, regardless of the discipline, whether they're business analysts, product owners, scrum masters, developers, architects. You're helping everyone get better at what they do. Then those false positives you brought up should start kind of not happening, because everyone knows what we're looking for. Everyone has that understanding of, and that trust that, hey, if the QA person finds that there's something that's not kind of going right, doesn't seem right, we should look into it, because kind of we've talked all the way through it and everyone agreed, but they still think there's something wrong. Okay, let's look into it and see what's going on.
Jeremy, why can't we just get AI to do the testing? That may or may not be sarcasm.
All right, I will give two answers for this. So, in PGMS, all right, I am checking my language right now. Overall, yes, organizations do think like that. Executives, individuals do think like that, because they just see the initial value as like, oh, I got a machine that's running the test. We have AI out there now that's kind of taken over and kind of getting a lot of work done, helping a lot of individuals get work done. And I know I've had arguments and discussions, not arguments, I would say discussions. I've had discussions with others that AI can replace everyone in software development. You just have to type in something and it'll be able to generate code, test it, and deploy it, and there'll be no issues. Automation is a tool, and a tool still has to be used by individuals. Things still have to happen to get that tool to work. So it's not going to replace anyone. It's going to provide additional opportunity for individuals to expand on what they know and what they learn and get jobs done. Everyone's talking now that AI is replacing jobs. And yeah, I can see it. AI does kind of get rid of some of the mundane jobs, but there's been reports that are going out that there's actually going to be more jobs created because of AI than removed. So automation is a similar type thing, and that's been going on for decades. You can have automation suites, automation tools that can do codeless automation. And so you could turn someone that is kind of just focused on manual testing, they can become an automation analyst kind of while using this tool, understanding how the tool works, understanding how code works in the background. Eventually, they could start coding and not just kind of using a clicker, using the mouse button to generate test cases.
How would people continue the conversation with you about automated testing, manual testing, finding the right balance?
You can reach me through LinkedIn. You can do a search for Jeremy Berriault in Toronto, find me there, or you can find me at my website, berriolandassociates.com.
And by the way, prove that you're not an AI.
I am a human. I don't know what else I can say to say that I'm a human, but I am. You got my word on it.
Until next month.
It is always a pleasure, Tom. Thanks.
In Reread Saturday News, Chapter 3 of Csikszentmihalyi's Flow is entitled Enjoyment and the Quality of Life. This chapter resonates strongly with me. I have always struggled with the idea that lounging around or mindlessly working is enjoyable. Thinking about those scenarios, the word tedious comes to mind. Let's explore. In the next Software Process and Measurement cast, I will be traveling to attend a funeral of a family member. We'll revisit a favorite Spamcast from 2019. Spamcast 553, Prioritization and Capability, an interview with Jim Benson. We'll be back with new programming on June 23rd. If process improvement is a never-ending journey, why do so many people ask, are we there yet?